Simplify square root of 28 plus the square root of 63 plus the square root of 112. Welcome to this video. If you like a challenge, so please pause the video, solve the question by yourself before you continue. But I can tell you right away that the correct choice here is 9 square root of 7. Yeah, okay, so you'll see that this is the way you will solve the problem. But I will go in deep. I will want to explain this problem step by step, touching every kind of concept you need to better understand it, because understand one problem correctly will help you to solve many problems. Okay, so before we continue, understand that in this problem we need perfect squares, and here we have a list of some perfect squares from 1 to 400. I will not spend more time on the perfect squares because the previous video on radical or square root, okay, in that video I explained the perfect square, how to use the perfect square to solve a square root problem, and you're gonna see the link in this in the description of this video. So if you use the link, that will help you to better understand how perfect square work. Okay, now here, understand that you need to break it down. This problem, you're gonna break it down. And how to break it down? Okay, divide the numerator inside the square root by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, so that you find the highest perfect square. Okay, we want to simplify. We want to simplify these 3 square roots. We'll take it one by one. If we take square root of 28, the thing is this, 28 is not a perfect square. If we go here, there is no perfect square as a 28. Perfect square are these numbers here. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, 144, 169, 196, until 400. So those are the perfect square, and we see that 28 is not a perfect square. So because 28 is not a perfect square, square root of a 28 will be a decimal value if we use like a calculator. But here, we don't need that. We need to simplify the thing to get one of the solutions here, which they are not decimal. Okay, what you have to do, you take the number. So we're going to take a 28. That's the first thing. We're going to divide 28 by 2. That gives you 14. Okay, so understand that if I multiply 2 by 14, I get 28. So 28 is same as a 2 multiplied by 14. But 2 is not a perfect square. If you go back again to the list, 2 is not a perfect square. 14 is not a perfect square. That means what? I need to go further. I need to use another number to do the division because this will not help me. Okay, so I move to 3. Can I divide 28 by 3 without getting a decimal? No, it's not possible. So I go to 4. So I take a 28, I divide it by 4, and that gives me 7. Okay, so this is telling you again that 7 multiplied by 4 or 4 multiplied by 7 is 28. Okay, from the two numbers 4 and the 7, 4 is a perfect square. 7 is not a perfect square, but 4 is a perfect square. And that 4 is the highest perfect square I can find in 28. If I want to find two numbers multiplied together, give me 28. And therefore, what I will say? I will say that, okay, 28 square root of a 28 is same as square root of a 4. So this is same as square root of a 4 times 7. I break it down. Okay, so this is telling me that you're going to have a square root of a 4 multiplied by square root of a 7. But 4 is a perfect square. Yes, this is 4 here. 4 is a perfect square. So because of 4 is a perfect square, okay, because 4 is a perfect square, square root of 4 will give me a regular 2 because 4 came from 2 times 2. Therefore, what's going to happen is that I'm going to rewrite the square root of a 4 as a regular 2 and now multiply by square root of a 7, which is 2 square root of a 7. The reason you're going to see there, if I go back to here, the reason you're going to see there, you see, this is square root of 28, which is square root of 4 times 7, which is 2 square root of 7. So they break it down to get that. Okay, we continue. Now we take what? The next number, which is square root of 53. We're gonna do the same process. First of all, we take it 63. We're gonna try to divide by 2. Okay, we're gonna get a decimal number. That means what? 2 doesn't work for 53. So we continue. We're gonna take a 3 and divide 63. So I'm gonna take a 63. I'm gonna divide it by 3. So if you do that, you get what? 21. Okay, but understand this. 21 multiplied by 3 is what? 63. But in the two numbers, I mean by two numbers, 3 and the 21, 3 is not a perfect square. 21 is not a perfect square. That means what? 3 is not that number I have to use for the division. So I go further. Okay, but if we try 4, 4 doesn't work. We try 5, doesn't work. So the next number, which will be good for this division will be what? 7. That means what? You take the same 63 and this time you divide it by 7. And the 63 divided by 7 is 9. So this is telling you that if you take a 9 and you multiply by 7, you get 63. Okay, and from the two numbers, from 7 and the 9, 9 is a perfect square. And this is the highest perfect square you can find from the two numbers multiplied together give you 63. So this is telling that I can write this as 9 multiplied by 7. Remember, after you have the two numbers, now you can separate them. So you have square root of 9 multiplied by square root of 7. Okay, square root of 9 give you what? A regular 3. So you have a regular 3 multiplied by square root of 7. Remember again, so here 9 is a perfect square, which is this one here. 9 is a perfect square. Why? Because 9 came from 3 multiplied by 3. So square root of 9 gives you a regular 3. Again, the link, for perfect square explanation is in the description of this video. So you can go back to watch that video and that will help you, that's what I want to say. That will help you to better understand what is solving here. Okay, so the reason you have this here, okay, square root of 63 as a 3, square root of 7. We continue. The last one here is square root of 112, and then go back again. We're gonna break it down. So we're gonna break it down. Let's take it out to this. Okay, so square root of 112. The question is, again, you're gonna ask what two numbers multiplied together give you 112. But from the two numbers, one's supposed to be what? A perfect square, because 112 is not a perfect square. Okay, so if you take 112, you divide it by 2, that give you what? 56. Okay, but 56 is not a perfect square. Even 2 is not a perfect square. That means what? The two numbers I have here are not helpful. So I need to go further. So instead of a 2, okay, you can try another number. 3 doesn't work because that will give you, a decimal. Okay, what about 4? Okay, 4, let's see. You have a 4. So 112 divided by 4 give you 28. Yes, we have a 4 as a perfect square. 28 is not a perfect square. We have a 4 as a perfect square. But the thing is this, 4 is not that highest perfect square we could find. Because of what? The 28, if you break it down, you're going to find another, perfect square. So the reason I cannot just stop here, you continue. 5 doesn't work. 6 doesn't work. But 7, let's see what's going to happen for 7. Let's see what's going to happen for 7. So that means what? You take the same 112, but this time you divide it by 7. And if you do that, 112 divided by 7, that gives you what? 16. Wow. Look, look. You have a 16 multiplied by 7 together give you 112. And the 16 is the highest perfect square you can find from the two numbers you multiply together 112. Therefore, I can rewrite this as square root of 16 multiplied by 7. Okay, which is same as to say square root of 16 multiplied by square root of 7. 16 is a perfect square. The square root of 16 is a regular 4 because 4 times 4 gives you 16. So you have a 4 radical 7. The reason you're going to see that here we have 4 radical 7. Okay, now let's see here. We have a 2 radical 7 plus 3 radical 7 plus 4 radical 7 because when we break it down, all the three square root numbers, we see that each one has something with a square root of 7, something with a square root of 7, something with a square root of 7. So in total, we have a 9 square root of 7 because we have a square root of 7. Why? 2 times, we have a square root of 7. 3 times, we have a square root of 7. 4 times. In total, how many square root of 7 we have? 9. 9 of them. That's why 9 square root of 7 is correct choice. So again, you have the link for the previous video about the square root and the perfect square in the description of this video. That will help you, to better understand how to use the perfect square to solve square root problem. Thank you so much. Feel free to leave any comment for any part of the video that you don't understand. I will be more than happy, to come back in another video to explain it. Again, thank you.